Let's move on to Watch This Jerks because I see we're loaded up.
We are loaded up. I watched Unfrosted.
Jerry Seinfeld's Pop-Tart movie.
Jerry Seinfeld's Pop-Tart movie. I know Jerry Seinfeld, some people, okay, so he is a little problematic, but that's okay. I still watched his movie.
Wait, why is he I saw that was it Duke? The Duke graduation or some commencement speech he gave, the students walked out.
People are unhappy with him for many reasons.
And he said thing about like liberal, like left wing, you can't have comedy anymore because of the left wing, far left or something.
Yeah, you can't have comedy anymore, which also is ridiculous. But he said a couple of ridiculous things recently.
Look, he's an older guy now. He's doing like this media tour for the movie. He's probably just running out of shit to say, so he doesn't know what's coming out. He just had to apologize for something that he said about Howard Stern, which is like his friend.
Yeah,
you saw that?
I saw that too.
It's just a situation, I think, where like, look, if you put somebody, if you make somebody speak for like 3 or 4 hours a day, and they're not just going to say the same thing over and over again, they're probably going to slip up and say something weird, especially...
I've been talking for 15 minutes, and I already called Whoopi Goldberg Whitney Houston, so let's...
Right. All right, so how's the movie?
That's the important thing. I'm going to apologize to both of them. Unfrosted as a movie is very interesting, because I know the reviews on it were terrible.
Oh, were they? Okay.
And I saw headlines. I didn't watch the videos, but I saw headlines on certain videos that were like, Unfrosted, worst movie of the year or worst movie of all time. And I was like, how bad could this be?
Oh,
I didn't hate it.
Okay.
It's a light comedy, but I think we're in a world where there aren't many light comedies out there. And I think for people that are used to, for people who consider The Bear to be a comedy, something like Unfrosted might be very jarring to them, because there's no stakes in this movie at all. There's no villains. There's nothing bad happens. It's like a cartoon that's live action. It's very bright. It's very colorful. There's lots of gags.
Does Seinfeld play Seinfeld in the movie?
Pretty much. And there's some dark jokes in there, but even the dark jokes are so heightened that they're almost played for. They're cartoony. There's no point in the movie where it takes a turn to go, oh man, didn't see that. Oh, that was dark. Oh, my emotions. It's not going to happen in this movie. But it's also the kind of movie that when it's over, you're like, all right, I saw that.
And you learned something about Pop-Tarts.
No, there's no facts in them.
Oh, really? You didn't even learn anything about Pop-Tarts?
Not really. There is one. They do show one fun fact at the end, like a little bit about Marjorie Post, which is also interesting. Here's a little fun fact that they don't bring up in the movie. Marjorie Post, the founder of, who ran Post cereals and was a very famous, wealthy woman CEO. One of the first big women CEOs who made a lot of money. She also there's a park named after her in Massapequa called Marjorie Post Park. And Jerry Seinfeld grew up walking distance from that park.
And he said, one day I'm going to make a movie about Pop-Tarts.
And one of the main characters is going to be Marjorie Post. So I thought that was it's not obviously not brought up in the movie, but because I've been to that park many times, I was like, hey,
there's a fact for our audience.
I'm like, there's something there.
You'll never get a fact like that from any other show.
You won't, but he did. He grew up very close to Marjorie. I don't live that close to that park, but he did. So it's a nice park, though.
That's a CAGcast exclusive.
Yep.
What else are we watching?
I watched Let It Be, the original cut of the Beatles documentary from 1970 that was buried for the last 50 years. They finally released it. I had never seen it before.
Why was it buried?
Basically, it was buried because it was when the Beatles were breaking up and they didn't really want it out there, was what I always heard, is that they just didn't like how they came off in Let It Be. But I think that was probably, if that's true, it was overblown. If it was just for other reasons, like whatever the reasons were, just getting the rights together, I don't know. They do a lot of covers in Let It Be, so I wonder if that had something to do with it. I don't know. If you watched Get Back, the 4 hour or whatever it is,
Or
5 more, the
More.
super long Peter Jackson documentary, you've seen most of what's in Let It Be. There are things in Let It Be that are not in there. And Get Back tells Get Back has hindsight. I mean, that's the difference. Get Back has context. It's been 50 years. The Beatles are the Beatles. So when Peter Jackson is cutting this, he's cutting it in a way where it's telling this story, and we're seeing these masters do their thing in a way we've never seen before, and we're getting insight to their process and what they were doing and what they were trying to do. And there's even like, title cards and like, and in 1969, the Beatles were asked to do blah, 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 and that kind of stuff. Let It Be has none of that. Let It Be, it just opens, they play some songs, they talk for a little bit to each other, they play some more songs. There's no through line. There's no story to it. They don't go over any of the context either. And it's being made obviously at the time. So it doesn't have the hindsight or perspective of, the Beatles are about to play on a rooftop and it's going to be their last live performance. They didn't know that when they were making Let It Be. They were just making this documentary of the Beatles. Essentially, it just seems like them dicking around in the studio for an hour and a half. So it's interesting to watch if you love the Beatles and you get to hear them play some amazing live music. You forget how great they are when they, jamming live, but there's no story there. I could see why maybe people, they didn't widely release it for so long, because there's no there. Because again, I think it just lacks perspective of understanding who the Beatles would be after they broke up.
Where can I watch this? Because I'll watch it.
This is on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, this is on Disney Plus. It's totally worth your time. But that's just
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. Totally worth your time. It's still amazing, but it's really interesting to watch a Beatles documentary where there's no perspective on who the Beatles were in a way.
You're just watching them do their thing.
You're just watching them do their thing.
I feel like they were pretty big in the 60s.
They were. It's not that there was no understanding of the, oh my God, I can't believe it's the Beatles. But they also kind of just stroll into Apple Studios, which you do see in the Get Back documentary. Sure. But there's only like 2 girls standing outside. Michael Lindsay Hogg, the director, you see this more in Get Back than you do in Let It Be, kind of treats them like shit during the making of this documentary.
I feel like you have to if you're going to.
I don't know.
Work with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's this next thing? We've talked about this long enough.
Yeah. Okay. What's the Contestant?
The Contestant is a movie on HBO. Oh, not HBO. Hulu. It's a documentary, 90 minutes, perfect length. It's about the first reality show, which actually was in Japan. It's very much like the Truman Show. I'll give you the quick concept, and you'll see it's fucking crazy. They took this guy, they put him in a room, they bring him to a room. They say that they're recording him. They don't tell him that it's going to be broadcast. In fact, they tell him it's probably not going to be broadcast. Inside the room is just a magazine rack. Okay, a rack of magazines, a table, and postcards. They tell him to strip down, take all his clothes, take away all his clothes. And they say, you have to write into magazines to win prizes. And that is the only way you're going to get anything. You are in this room. There's not food. I mean, we'll give you some crackers so you don't die. But food and drink, clothing, anything that you would need to live in this room, you're going to need to win out of these magazines and with these postcards. And he knows that there's a camera there, and I don't want to ruin the documentary because it's fucking insane. But let's just say he is in there for a very long time, and wow, if this was in America, the TV station would have been sued into oblivion. But anyway, it's not I mean, it's a little depressing, but it has sort of a happy ending, sort of. Yeah,
they paid for his funeral. Is that the happy ending?
Semper in the chat says it sounds illegal. Yeah, in America, there would have been an incredible lawsuit over it. But you got to watch it. It's wild to watch, and it's not super depressing. It does not fit my depressing documentary genre. That's the Contestant. It's on Hulu, and Fred Armisen is the voice of the Japanese TV show voiceover.
Okay.
That's it. That's the star power. That's the star power. Anyway, you got to watch it. The Contestant. Great. And what was cool is that Mrs. Chibi didn't know anything about it because she had moved to America when this all happened in Japan. So it was all new for her, too. What do we got on the TV show side?
I watched this. It's a special. It's a 6-part special that's on Netflix. It's called Everyone's in LA with John Mulaney, and he did a live talk show. He actually did it on a Friday, took the weekend off, and then did Monday through Friday. So it's 6 nights, 5 in a row. They were all live. They're all on Netflix now. It is a very bizarre experiment of doing a talk show live 6 days in a row. It has some really cool guests on it. I mean, David Letterman was a guest, and Patton Oswalt was a guest, and Mike Birbiglia was on, Bill Hader, Will Ferrell was on there. Lots of famous comedians. And with that, there were also like an earthquake expert, or someone from the La Brea tar pits, or an expert on coyotes. That's the first episode. So they have like this sort of theme where they try to have almost like a Dick Cavett type roundtable where they discuss a serious topic, but it doesn't really stick, obviously, because it's comedians and it's John Mulaney. And there are some pre-tape segments in between, probably to help with setting things up. There's some really interesting musical guests also. They had Weezer and Beck and Warren G. And who else? There was another. Oh, Los Lobos.
Hey, Warren G?
Yeah. And
he's still alive?
He sings Regulate.
No,
he's dead.
Song?
I thought he's dead. He's still alive, huh?
Yeah.
Oh. Might be thinking about Nate G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yes. Good. That was sad the other day.
He got all these people on that like play, and he got them to play their hits. Like Weezer came on and played Buddy Holly, and Beck came on and played Loser, and Los Lobos played La Bamba.
Nice.
And it was like, and it's interesting just to watch. Yeah, Flea was on an episode. It's very weird. The episodes might sometimes feel a little long because they're an hour each. But it's a worthwhile experiment. I would like to see him do more. He says he's never going to do it again. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Beck in concert. He was really good.
I bet.
That was so long ago. Yeah. It was that big album, 2 turntables and a microphone. I forgot the name of the album. Odelay.
Odelay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hammerstein Ballroom.
Nice.
What else we got?
I finished X-Men because I didn't want to get spoiled for me, so I had to watch the finale as soon as I could. And that's so good. It's probably the best thing Marvel's done since Werewolf by Night. So, check that out. Check out X-Men 97. Have you been watching it still, Ship?
I have not watched any more since we last spoke about it. So still at the Genosha or whatever that country is.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah.
I'm right before that.
Okay. So I won't say much.
Good.
I don't want to spoil anything.
It's good, though. That's all we need to know.
It's super good. I'm sad it's over. That's how good it is.
Well, they're going to make another season, I'm sure, right?
They already, I think it's almost done. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I think there may even be 2 more after it, depending upon how it goes. I wonder if they'll do, the rumor is they may bring back animated Spider-Man. Like since this was so good and Spider-Man ran at the same time, that they may reboot that cartoon as well.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
No, Spider-Man 90s Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Oh. So they would do Spider-Man 97.
The one where he became Man Spider. And
yes, the one where he at one point got 6 arms.
Not the one with Firestar.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean, they
Iceman.
could do that one as well, but
Yeah, that would be cool too. But no, this one, because this one is in the same shared universe as the X-Men.
yeah, and
cartoons were.
they just had the whole Madam Web
Mhm.
movie too, so they could tie that in.
Wombat,
Yep.
I'm surprised it's on Netflix. You didn't watch it?
I know. I saw it was on there, and I was like so tempted to be like, "Do I watch this?"
Oh, I'm
And
gonna
like,
watch that. There's no doubt about it. I'm gonna
Oh,
watch that.
I thought of Wombat first when that popped up on Netflix. I was like, Wombat's already watched this.
I haven't. I have not watched it. I don't. I would really have to be like
Really?
alone
Come
on
on.
a Sunday.
Oh no, you have to be
afternoon.
alone to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like, hey, there's another person in the room. I'm watching Madam Web. Like, that's not gonna
Because
happen.
they're gonna leave the room as soon as you put it on.
Correct. Like,
Nice. Well, I'm
Nothing
not
about
watching
that movie looks appealing to me. Is the problem.
that's all right. I've watched all the rest. I mean, I did all
I
of
watched-
the Carnage and the Venoms and the
I did that. I watched Morbius too, but
and,
even
and
those movies,
Morbins, yeah.
those movies seem more appealing to me. There's no real superhero fighting in
Sure there is. They're fighting against like evil Spider-Man or something. Didn't you see the trailer?
I did, but they don't really.
How do you know?
I
You
mean,
haven't watched it yet.
I know how it ends. I know everything
Oh.
that happens in the movie.
Why did you do that?
Because I
He
knew
can't
I
help
wasn't.
himself.
Because I didn't want to watch it. I'm like, if I just watch,
But you're
one
still
of
gonna
these-
watch it. You're gonna know everything about it, and then you're gonna watch it still.
maybe.
Right.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to you watching it.
I don't know if I am, but I am gonna watch it.
Right.
So
I
I
have
didn't
to.
know this. I didn't know this restarted. So this is back.
Yes, the Big Door Prize season 2 is back. We are up to date on it. It's still very good. The best character by far is who, Wombat?
Is it the friend who owns the restaurant?
Yes, Giorgio. Correct.
Mhm.
Giorgio is one of the best characters ever on a television show.
He's a
I
good
don't-
actor. I like him.
I don't know the actor, but it's just like he's the perfect combination of he's got like a big ego, but he's lovable and a moron. It's just great. And I don't know, he's just hilarious. Everything about him is just hilarious. One of the funniest characters ever. Great show on Apple TV, Big Door Prize. Those are only like half-hour episodes too. So if you're into a show like that, and it's
How many
funny.
episodes are out?
Of 6, maybe of a
season
good
2,
number.
really?
Yeah, good number. Maybe
Oh, I didn't
5.
realize that was-
Yeah,
See, this is what I get for now. I never open. I always forget to open up Apple Apple TV on my thing and see what's on there.
there's good stuff on there.
They really didn't advertise this show at all.
Maybe it's
Like,
funny. It's most importantly, it's funny. It's cute. It's not depressing. A little heartwarming.
That's
But-
what I liked about the first season is that it kind of like it builds up to you thinking something dark is going to happen, and
Yeah.
then it subverts the darkness by saying, "Actually, we're not going to do that.
Right.
That's not what this show is." And I actually really appreciated it, and I
Yeah.
think they were like talking before. There are people that just don't like everything now has to be dark and depressing at the end. That where
Right.
it isn't, people are like, "Well, I didn't like that. No one got their head chopped off."
Right.
And- yeah. They're holding hands at the end. I don't like that.
Yeah. I find it's the writing is edgy enough that that it doesn't need to have any bullshit. Like it's just it's funny. It's funny. Funny edgy is plenty. Also, season 2, The Jinx on Max, the Robert Durst documentary.
Yeah,
you watching that?
You mentioned it last week.
Oh, we're all caught up on that. It's great. Should watch that. Hopefully, I don't know what happens, but it's good. And also I put on here, there's going to be another video game show coming to Amazon Prime Video, and that is going to be Shipwreck's favorite, Tomb Raider. The Fallout TV show was super successful. Like
I watched it.
a lot of people watched it. I think it was maybe their
no,
most successful.
Only I watched it.
No, it was just you. You
No
must have
one
watched it a
else
lot.
no one else watched it.
How many times did you watch it? Because they're making more just for you.
18 million times.
That's a lot.
Mhm.
Anyway, so the Tomb Raider show is coming, and now is that going to be super? I admit I did not click on this article. I just pulled it up. I'm assuming this is going to be super violent too, because the game is pretty violent. There's new ones.
I mean, if it's based on the newer ones,
which it's got to be.
it's got to be. Yeah, I don't know. like the super violence part is not the part of those games that I like.
That's not the hook. It's not like in
It's
Fallout
the Indiana
where-
Jones stuff that's in Tomb Raider.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Could be good. I mean, it's not like they haven't done Tomb Raider 2 or 3 other times at this point, right?
Two.
We had the one with the paint and the bikes.
We had Angelina Jolie, and we had Alicia Vikander.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That Fallout show had over 65 million viewers, by the way. Which seems
that's what I said. I watched it 65 million times.
What an ego on this guy.
I stutter?
I feel like that's going to do better than a Tomb Raider show. I feel like part of the Fallout, the reason that one like had so many viewers is that it was new to people as well. Right? Like I think there's a lot of those 65 million that have never played a Fallout.
Oh, I know
sure.
that for a fact.
Right?
I spoke to
Tomb Raider's got a more limited potential audience than that.
Yeah.